In his first public appearance as newly elected Pope on the central loggia of the Basilica, Pope Leo asked the crowds gathered in St. Peter's Square to pray together a Hail Mary, invoking the feast day of Our Lady of Pompeii, the day of his election. After celebrating Mass in the Archbasilica of St. John Lateran, Pope Leo XIV visited the Basilica of St. Mary Major. There he prayed in the Pauline Chapel before the icon of Salus Populi Romani, salvation of the Roman people, venerating this sacred image before which many pontiffs have entrusted the Church's most important intentions. Before making his return to the Vatican, the Pope stressed the importance of having a close relationship with the Mother of God.
È una bellissima opportunità per rinnovare.
This is a wonderful moment to renew our devotion to Mary and the image of Salus Populi Romani, who has accompanied the people of Rome through so many of their trials.
Popolo di Roma nelle sue necessità.
On that occasion, Pope Leo XIV prayed in silence at the tomb of his predecessor, Pope Francis, whose deep devotion to Salus Populi Romani led him to be buried in the Marian Basilica where the icon is kept. Pope Leo has followed this tradition of Marian devotion. Just 2 days after his election, on May the 10th, in his first trip outside the Vatican, he went to Genazzano, the medieval town 30 kilometers from Rome. There he visited the shrine of Our Lady of Good Counsel, entrusting his pontificate to Mary. But what makes this icon so unique? And how did it inspire such lasting devotion?
Siamo nella Santuario Madre del Buon Consiglio di Genazzano.
We are at the Sanctuary of Mother of Good Counsel in Genazzano, and I wanted to explain how the sanctuary came about. Now let's start with this painting.
Partiamo da questo quadro.
On the site where the Basilica of Our Lady of Good Counsel stands today, there was already an ancient church built in the 11th century called Santa Maria del Buon Consiglio. In the 15th century, a pious widow named Petruccia put all her possessions at her disposal to rebuild the church. Her funds were insufficient, and her fellow citizens began to mock her. But the pious woman answered them, "My children, do not worry, for before I die, the Blessed Virgin Mary and St. Augustine will complete this church." According to tradition, not long after Petruccia's prediction, on April the 25th, 1467, the feast of St. Mark, at the time of Vespers, an image of the Blessed Virgin Mary miraculously appeared. The townspeople suddenly heard the church bells, and a mysterious cloud descended on the unfinished wall of the church. In front of the people, the cloud dissipated, and a beautiful fresco, no more than 18 inches square, of the Virgin Mary and the Christ child was revealed. It was widely believed that it had been miraculously transported from a church in Albania, just prior to its invasion by the Ottomans.
In this painting, you see two Albanian pilgrims leaving Shkodra and coming here to Genazzano. Now they are following Our Lady.
Even today, this tradition is alive, both in Genazzano, which celebrates the